Hi guys, how are you all doing? I hope all of you are doing well and all of you are safe with your families at home. Well, first of all, a very happy new year to you. This of course is the first car that I am videoing or filming in this new year. Now this of course is the updated MG Hector. MG is facing a lot of competition in this segment because of the updated Seltos and of course the new Creta. So they've also decided to upgrade the already well selling Hector. It's selling decent numbers. Now the big change on the front of course include this huge new grille. It's now in line with the international models that MG has. MG has been listening to all your comments and your feedback, but the bigger changes have been reserved for the interiors. We'll quickly show you a walk around of the car, and after that we'll jump inside. But before that, here's a quick message from our sponsors, Budmo.com. Now what is Budmo? Well, Budmo, as you might be aware by now, is the online expert in terms of spare parts. If you want a spare part for your vehicle, they have it in their list. They have the most extensive spare parts catalog, right from the most affordable small car to the top of the line luxury car, you name the car, and they have the spare parts for it. And the best point is that they have the spare parts from a host of different component makers and different price segments for the same spare part. So if you want to buy a cheaper part from a different maker or a more expensive part from a different component maker, they have the option for you, and they also promise you 10 days assured return. So guys, when you see the car from the front and you see this new grille, now MG has already been giving you a very prominent grille with the Hector. This one is also very prominent. You get this design element, I don't know what to call it, but it looks very stylish and definitely stands out from a sea of other cars out there. Now this car has a lot of chrome right from the lower end of the headlamps all the way to the grille, and if you move on to the other side, you can see that there's a C section around the fog lamps as well. All these lamps are now of course, they've always been of course LEDs, so that is something which this car has, and of course you get different color elements as well. This scuff plate or the skid plate is now in silver, and along with silver you get black, white, and of course a little bit of chrome. So you have 3 or 4 color elements which definitely give it a unique look, a very different perspective from every other car. Now the big change on the side profile of course is that the wheel arches now are looking very well filled out because the tires and the wheels are bigger. This of course is a R18 tire. The earlier car had R17, which made the wheel arches look really very empty because that was a much smaller tire, and this car looked and felt a little under tired, and a lot of people gave their feedback to MG. A lot of buyers and prospective buyers said that you should give us better wheels and bigger wheels, and that is something that MG has heard. Now on the side profile you again get a dual tone. The roof as well as the rearview mirror all is in black and the color is white, and of course you get turn indicators integrated into the mirror as well. That's a very cool feature. The door handles also have an element of chrome, and of course you also get a touch sensor, which means that you can open and close this car without the key. The key needs to be in your pocket. If you look at the lower end of the car, you get of course black as well as chrome here as well, which makes this car stand out a little bit and give it certain appeal. Now the big point about this car when you look at it from the side is of course the fact that the doors both in the front and at the back are huge, and what that means is that when you open it up, it is easy to get in and out of. So that is something which a lot of prospective buyers who are buying their cars for their parents will appreciate. Also you get a little bit of chrome here with the MG badging, and just to remind you that you're sitting inside a car from MG. The side profile is pretty impressive as well. Again, blackened out effect for the last window, and of course when you have a look at the tail lamps, you'll realize that it's a fancy looking car. The hybrid system of course means that this car has an additional battery pack, which makes it a mild hybrid, and a start stop function as well. When you open up the boot, you'll see the lights flashing, which is very cool and really gives it a very cool element as well. The boot on this car is the biggest on any SUV at this price point. It's a 587 litre boot. It's one of the biggest boots I've seen on any car, and of course there's a partial self right now which we won't remove because a lot of other people are also filming this car, but you can see there's no loading sill. It's a deep boot, spacious boot, and there's also a light over here, which means that if you're opening it up in the evening or at night when there's limited light outside, you get good visibility. So it's a powered tailgate, as you just saw. All you do is just press this button over here, and that takes care of closing and opening this boot, which is again a very luxury feature. And of course when you close it, the lights really flash and look very cool, and this flashing lamp really is a very cool style statement. I really like this element on this car. Anyways, that was the looks of this car from the outside. What do you think of the MG Hector, and what do you think of the updates Do let me know in the comments below. Now let's jump inside the cabin and show you the cabin from the inside. So quickly, let's have a look at the interiors of this car now. And the first thing you'll notice is the door panel, and of course you get black on top. The opening handle is in silver, and a little bit of silver over here as well. And then of course there's a lot of beige, which adds to the overall luxury factor of this car. Now the buttons on this one, of course you get the usual lock unlock, and of course power windows. Only the driver's side window goes automatic down and completely automatic up. The other windows you need to press them for up and down completely. Apart from that, you of course can see Infinity branding for the tweeters, and this of course is very nice stereo. Sounds very good, the bass is very good, the clarity is very good, and one of the better systems on any car out there. The buttons over here, this one of course is for the mirror adjustment. This is of course for the auto retraction and the auto, turning it out again, right and left side. The adjustment for the headlamps, and of course dimming for the backlight, and this button is for the power tailgate. Now this place over here is a place where you can keep your odds and ends, and of course keep the keys of the car. Now if you look at the keys, the key of the Hector is a very simple design, lock, unlock, and the boot release. And from the back also it gets simple MG badging, which looks nice, and also looks pretty classy. In terms of looks, the steering wheel is nice to grip, and it's a flat bottom steering wheel, and that adds to the overall sportiness. A lot of controls on this side for the telephone, for the stereo, volume up down, channel change of the stereo, whatever channel you want, and of course the voice command, which is the all important function inside this car. Very fancy touch, and MG were the first ones to launch this on the SUV range in India. And in terms of the overall dials, the dials also look nice. Now let me just show you one feature of this car, if I can show it to you from here in the middle. That of course is that when you turn it off, everything goes completely dull, but when you switch it on again and you do this, then it starts in a very cool fashion. The dials go all the way up, and of course you also get a lot of functions in it. You can see right now that all three doors are open, and there's also no fuel inside the car, so the car is showing you all those things. The gauges for the fuel and for the heat gauge and the fuel gauge could have been bigger. They're very small and very tiny, so maybe initial users might just have some difficulties in looking at them. And of course you get the usual distance to empty, which is currently showing only about 3 kilometers, which isn't very fancy, and that should have been better, but that's quite okay because this car is only being used for static shoots. Automatic headlamps, as you can see, auto, which means that when it turns dark outside, the car will automatically light up the headlamps. And apart from that, it's a very tech loaded car. We'll show you the other features of this car from the other side when my cameraman walks in from that side. But before I forget, this car also has electrically adjusted seats, which is also a very nifty touch. Before I forget that, here it is, and how to use it is very simple. This one is for the slide front and back, and this of course is for the backrest, and that's about it in terms of the electric adjustment for the seat. Now let's see from the other end how the center console of this car looks in detail. Well, so looking at the interiors of this car, the first thing that you'll notice over here is of course there's a plethora of buttons. There's one for the light, and of course these two are separate for the light for the passenger side and the driver side. One for the opening of the sunroof, and of course this of course is for the light again, but this of course is for the sunroof, and this is for the blinds on top of the sunroof. The passenger side gets your own vanity mirror, which has a light inside it, so whoever's seeing their face is always lighted up nicely and brightly. That's a nice touch as well. And the sunroof of course is the big party trick. You can use your voice commands to open it up, but if you don't want to use your voice commands and you really want to be quick with it, all you need to do is just press this button over here, and the sunroof opens up in a single touch. It goes all the way back. It's a panoramic sunroof, huge sunroof, and very impressive as well. And of course if we do it again, then the entire sunroof opens up, but we're not going to do that because once we open it up, the light changes inside the car. If you talk about the other big highlight, that is of course the infotainment system. The infotainment system of this car is one of the best in the business. You also get a host of other apps. You get the Ghana app and other apps as well, file management systems. You can check your emails, and of course you can check the tire pressure monitor and various settings on this car, Bluetooth connectivity, equalizer, volume, and a host of other things, and a lot of connected features are there. This of course is a connected car, which means you can use the Wi-Fi systems as well inside this car, and even the air conditioning controls are taken care of from the bottom screen. As you can see, it's very easy to use. It's like an Apple iPad, and very easy, very intuitive to use. Only 5 buttons here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which gives it a lot of simplicity and ease of use. And of course there's a 6 button over here for traction control, and of course there's a button here for the emergency lights. But the new features on this car are the cool front seats, and the button for those are over here in the corner, as you can see, nice and easy to operate, and that's something which adds a lot of value to the already feature loaded car. In the middle you again get this start stop button, which is automatic start stop. You can turn it on or off. A 360-degree camera. Unfortunately, it's not a very high definition camera. The definition could have been better. That's something that maybe MG should have improved, but at least you know where your car is and what is surrounding you. So definition or no definition, at least you know where your car is. And of course this is the parking sensitive park sensors, and of course this is the parking sensors which when you open them up make this noise, so you can always shut them down when you're driving this car around. Of course if you use your handbrake and you press this button, then it doesn't work because the car knows that you're standing in a stationary position. But in terms of the newness, you of course get front cooled seats, which is a new feature, and you also get wireless charging for your mobile phone. These are two features which are missing. Apart from that, automatic headlamps, traction control, multiple airbags, cruise control, all these functions are there. But of course the party trick of the MG cars has always been the voice commands, and this one gets the iSmart 2 system, which means that you can use a lot of commands in Hindi as well. So you can say things like hello MG,
I'm listening.
मुझे ठंड लग रही है.
Okay, temperature is raised to 28 degrees.
That is something that you can do, and MG, or the car rather, pushes up the temperature to 28 or 27 depending on how cold you are and how cold the things are outside. What you can also do, of course, is the fancy sunroof opening. Hello MG,
I'm here.
खुल जा सिम सिम. And that of course is something which is very cool. It's a very cool party trick, and I reckon that it really adds to the overall appeal of the car, the luxury factor of the car. And if you have kids in the family, if you have younger folks in home, this is something that will truly entice them, because it's a very cool party trick. And of course this is something you can tell your friends. Of course it's not something that you know, you can say anything, like you can't say hello MG, hello MG,
Hi, how can I help?
मुझे प्यास लग रही है. Now these are not things that you should say, because don't think that MG will take you to the nearest stall for Diet Coke. But of course there are some other functions that it can talk about. In terms of comfort, these seats are very comfortable, very good cushioning, very good support for your under thighs, very good support for your lower back. The quality also is quite good, and it is at par with its rivals. And as I just said, in terms of practicality, in terms of comfort, in terms of features, MG has taken the notch, one level up in terms of the overall ambience inside the cabin. Well, Jim, now in the back seat of the MG Hector. Now, if you've already seen my review of the earlier car, then you must have seen that the Hector has always been a nice place for the sheer comfort in the back, and this one also is the same. Knee room is more than sufficient, headroom is more than satisfactory, and even if you're about 6 feet or 6'1" or 6'2", if you're tall, then you will be very comfortable in the back seat, because it's a very spacious car, and it really is a nice place to be. Now the seat comfort is very good because the under thigh support is good, the cushioning is very good, and you can also change the backrest angle. You can move it up or down depending on what kind of mood you're in. If you're in the mood to laze around a bit, you can take it all the way back and simply go off to sleep. And of course, if you want to be attentive, you can sit like this and see where your driver is going, because that big 10-inch touchscreen, you can easily view it from over here. Now it's a wide car, which means you can sit 3, but that's not all. The floorboard also is completely flat, so if you're sitting in the middle, has plenty of place to stretch his feet. So that's something which buyers will truly appreciate, to sit in the back seat all day long and are buying their cars just for the back seat experience. Now the windows are also nice and large, which means that the cabin feels very bright and very airy, and the aperture also is very big. The opening aperture is very big, so if you have older people at home, if you have older folks at home, then they will truly appreciate this car. So essentially what I'm trying to say is that if you're in the market for a mid-size or a large-size SUV, and you want a car which is comfortable, spacious, and also a car which is very good in the back seat, then the MG Hector is a car you should definitely go ahead and check out.